All right, first of all, I want to say to you that I am Jearlyn Steele. It is a pleasure to be here with Tubman again in this particular space and in this time. What amazes me about this time is that we are kicking off the Great Dreams campaign. Can you believe it? And we're excited to bring together friends of Tubman to mark this auspicious, exciting moment in our organization's history. Now, as we gather today, this evening, Tubman acknowledges that our sites are located on ancestral and contemporary lands of indigenous people. Acknowledgement is a necessary step in honoring Native communities and working toward decolonization. In indigenous cultures, there is a strong tie between the land and people. Healing the land is also healing the people. Acknowledging the space we occupy is important to our vision of building an anti-racist culture, Statewide, federally recognized tribes in Minnesota include the 7 Anishinaabe communities of Grand Portage, Boys Fort, Red Lake, White Earth, Leech Lake, Fond du Lake, and Fond du Lac? See, I knew that. You're my friend now. Fond du Lac, and Mille Lacs and 4 Dakota communities, which include the Shakopee, Mdewakanton, Prairie Island, Lower Sioux, and Upper Sioux. Now, through the coordinated genocide of Native peoples and the imperialistic desire to sort and categorize people, it is likely that there are tribal peoples and names that have not survived the passage of time. Tubman acknowledges those tribes which are federally unrecognized or unnamed. Thank you, Tubman. The Great Dreams campaign is about helping Tubman prepare for our next chapter. For over 45 years, we've been meeting the needs of domestic violent survivors. We've changed the culture and the way we see and treat people who have lived and survived trauma. I am one of them. For over 45 years, we've stayed on the forefront of innovations in service. We named the campaign Great Dreams because we wanted to articulate. Did you get it? Articulate and realize the hopes and dreams of women and families who rise above. And the Great Dreams campaign is about equipping Tubman to continue to do this important work by investing in the place, programs, and people that make it possible. Guess who's in the room? Before we tell you about the campaign, we wanted to share a story of how someone with big dreams came to Tubman, the journey they went on, and how they come to lead the campaign. Now, before I do that, I hope you've noticed, as you've been getting reacquainted with old friends and meeting new ones, creation happening right here, in the corner of the room. This is Sean Garrison. And he has a very personal connection to the mission of Tubman. Sean is going to be working on a painting, as you can see, that will help commemorate the renewal at Tubman and honor the stories of the people who have survived relationship violence and gone on to achieve their great dreams. And now, please welcome, or help me welcome, Great Dreams campaign co-chairs Junita Flowers and Jake Blumberg.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, how you doing? So it's always fun to be at a podium when you have to try to share the microphone. So this should be at least entertaining for you all, if nothing else. Jearlyn, thank you so much for being here with us. Sean, thank you for being here with us. We are pleased and grateful to be here with you all tonight. And I'm super, super grateful to be standing next to this wonderful leader, my co-chair of the campaign, Junita Flowers, and the other co-chair of the campaign, Dr. Christina Farhart, my wife, in the audience there. We are here not only because of our shared esteem and love for Tubman's work, but also the road that many of us have journeyed on together or separately to get to a place where we care so much about Tubman. Tonight, Junita and I want to share a little bit about our own personal stories about this journey that connects us to Tubman, with hopes of you all being able to see yourselves in the Tubman mission and campaign as well. My first connection with an organization like Tubman was actually when I was in elementary school. My cousin came to live with my grandparents, and he was in a full body cast as a 5-year-old. And I was just a few years older than him, and my grandparents and my mom were very, very broad about why he was there. He needed to be taken care of, he was in this cast, he was coming to stay with my grandparents. And so that was about it. A couple of months later, he moved back to his home, got out of his cast, and then a couple months after that, I was greeted by the police at my elementary school, where they were asking me to come with them instead of being picked up by my family because there had been a threat made to our entire family. My cousin and my aunt had been living in a version of a hell for years. As a young kid, I didn't know about it until I knew about it. And at that point, being picked up by the police to be taken to a safe spot to be with my family, everything kind of shifted for me. My aunt and my cousin ended up needing to flee to Wyoming so they could be protected by the fact that they were out of the same state that we were in at the time with their offender in Colorado. They had to go to Wyoming simply to get away. And I think my family and my aunt and my cousin could have gone a lot of different directions with that experience. What my family committed to in Colorado Springs, Colorado, was working with our Tubman. It's called Tessa in Colorado Springs. And I started doing fundraisers when I was in junior high for Tessa. My aunt could have gone a different direction as well. She, I think, could have rightfully wanted to distance herself from the work of and trauma of domestic violence. But instead, she committed her entire career after moving to Wyoming to be a victim services support person with her local agency like Tubman. And so although we weren't in Minnesota, we were with Tubman at that time, and the hope and the dream of what can come from trauma became apparent to us and to my family, and it's something that we've remained committed to.
Jake, thank you so much for sharing your family's journey. For me, the road to Tubman has been an interesting journey as well. It's been interesting to go from client of Tubman to now co-chair of the Great Dreams campaign. You'll see in a lot of our campaign documents a quote from Harriet Tubman that says, behind every great dream, there's a dreamer. And when we think about dream, we usually think of something exciting, but the road to accomplishing and manifesting your dreams is not always a straight one. Because I remember the day where I literally thought that every dream that I ever had was completely shattered. And that particular day was when I was sitting in a building in downtown Minneapolis in what felt like what I imagine a dungeon to feel like. Not because of the characteristics of the room, not because of the lighting or anything that was in the room, but simply because of the condition of my heart. I felt abandoned, I felt lonely, I felt broken, I felt shame, and I felt scared. But I sat there because that was the day that I realized that I was the member of a club called the 1 in 4 Club. It's because 1 in 4 women will experience an abusive relationship in her life. It's a club that no one should ever have to be a part of. And as I sat there in that space, feeling abandoned, lonely, scared, in the corner of the room, someone came from behind a door and beckoned me to follow her. So I followed her. What I didn't know at the time, but I know now, that was an angel. She was a domestic services advocate from Tubman, assigned to work downtown for the court cases to support survivors as they're going through the order for protection process. So I ended up in that room in a space of feeling completely by myself, not really knowing what the next step forward would be. And I followed that angel into that room, into the courtroom. She supported me as I stood there before the judge. She supported me not only that day as I was going to court, she supported me when I went back to the office and we did work through legal advocacy services. I worked through the mental health counseling services. She made sure that those shattered dreams that I was experiencing on that day in that room, that we had a chance to turn that around. And that was when I realized that the dreams that I had, they began to have life again because I was able to interact with that angel who was a staff member of Tubman.
And I know one of the things you and I have discussed, Junita, is that the commonality between our stories and the stories of so many others, likely in this room and certainly throughout Tubman's service area, is kind of that isolation, that sense of kind of being out on your own, and then feeling supported, feeling like you're not alone. When was that realization for you, that you weren't alone on your path anymore?
It was literally a moment of moving from fear to freedom. Being able to it was one of those things where I didn't know the questions to ask, but that advocate was there with the answers before I even thought to ask them. That's what it feels like to move from fear to freedom. That started when a caring person from Tubman's Legal Services also supported me along my journey as well.
Yeah, and Sean, you're adding to this as we go along because there are so many aspects of Tubman's mission pursuit. Tubman's shelter staff, like those that helped my aunt, provided safety and calm during the eye of a storm.
And it was Tubman's mental health professionals. They stood by our sides during our darkest, hardest times.
Tubman's team helps make the dreams of a post-violent life come true for so many. Nearly 20,000 people a year access Tubman services. Employment and housing and other support that empower our clients to move on to bigger and better things. Our agency helps them get there.
And you know what? We're not alone. Just like the colors on Sean's canvas, together, everyone in this room, we make something greater than our individual parts. We make a community that means we're never alone.
And by being here tonight at this launch of this campaign, you all are each a very important part of the picture that is going to help allow people to move from their darkest times to their greatest dreams.
Tubman is here to help us realize our community's dreams of safety, independence, and prosperity.
And with that, we look forward to welcoming someone else onto the stage with us. Jearlyn, will you come please and get this microphone away from us?
My goodness, that was beautiful. If I would sing a song right now, it would be something like, I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be saved. Tubman, you don't know, but you too saved my life once. I've never talked about that to a group of people, and so I won't start now. As we continue, today Jake and Junita are helping Tubman look forward to help us prepare to adapt and meet the needs of women, families, and people in trauma today by investing in the people, programs, and places that make Tubman an essential community resource. To give us an overview of what this campaign means to Tubman, please help me welcome the CEO, Jan Polzing.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you for being here. It's incredible to see each of you here. So we are so excited about all of the possibilities that this campaign represents. Included in this investment are several critical things. And in an effort to try and keep myself from keeping you all here all night, because I'm so excited about our future as an organization and as a community, I made a few notes. So this is all about making our spaces, that includes both our public and our residential spaces, more accessible, safer, welcoming. This includes major work to Harriet Tubman Center East that completes our capital improvements plan that began with the rehab at Tubman Chrysalis Center in Minneapolis. It is expansion and deepening of our program services. Just a few things, certainly deepening our community-based housing programming, our youth services, which are growing exponentially, reimagining the highest and best use of our commercial kitchen, building the Twin Cities' first on-site pet shelter, which is designed to help all members of a family impacted by domestic violence, further investment in the legal services that you heard Junita describe. It's also an investment in the staff of Tubman. I am incredibly honored to work alongside this amazing group of compassionate, knowledgeable, dedicated, and driven professionals, many of whom have personal experience with all of the issues that we serve. They help thousands of clients every single year. And none of this could happen without your leadership, your partnership, your support, and your generosity. We're so grateful to you all for helping this campaign come to life. And there are tons of us around to talk with you and answer any questions you may have about the work that we do. And there's all kinds of information at tubman.org. I know you know our organization in one way or another. And we just, again, thank you for being in partnership with us in this community and on this campaign.
So, we're dreaming big. We're dreaming so big, Jen can't even go over all of it. There's brochures in front of you, and as she said, so many of us in the room who are happy to chat more about this campaign. But we've been hard at work for a while now, pulling together champions of Tubman to help lead and contribute to this effort. We're seeking to raise $6 million from generous private contributions and approximately $6 million from government contributions. In total, we're asking our generous community, our dedicated donors, our legislative leaders, to build a Tubman for the needs of tomorrow, an ever-evolving set of needs. We have some folks here from the legislature and from Senator Klobuchar's office. Please make sure to thank them, like I'm going to right now, thank you, for the support that makes such a difference in every service Tubman provides, from the Violence Against Women's Act to bonding for a campaign like this, on and on. Public funding plays such an integral role in the work that Tubman does. So thank you for that advocacy.
And we are so excited to announce, and I need a drum roll. Can somebody give me a drum roll, please? That we are over halfway to our philanthropic goal with $3 million committed. It's so gratifying to just be able to see this continue to come to life. We'd like to take a moment to show gratitude to our early supporters that have gotten us here today.
We want to thank the Fred C. and Catherine B. Anderson Foundation for making the largest gift in Tubman's history, $1 million to help make great dreams a reality. They're joined by the Hugh J. Anderson Foundation and Hardenberg Foundations, who have also stepped up and made significant lead gifts to this campaign. In addition to those lead gifts, we've had over 50 other individuals and organizations who have given to get us to this point in the campaign, as you can see here. And as we look at these names, I just want to appreciate each and every one of your leadership and support to get the first part of this campaign rolling. It's always hard to get momentum started, right? But continuing that momentum, that's what we're here for tonight. That's what we want to talk about tonight.
And we all know that campaigns only work because people make them work. We want to give a very special thank you to the volunteers leading the campaign. So if I can get all of the campaign committee volunteers to raise your hand or to stand just so that we can thank you for your commitment and your work.
We also want to take this moment to remember one of those campaign committee members and one of Tubman's most dedicated volunteer leaders who passed away earlier this year. Chris Sir of loving memory served on our board of directors, was an attorney at Maslin, and most recently was working on this very capacity campaign to further Tubman's future. Chris believed deeply in the work of Tubman. Gifts made in Chris's memory from his family, his friends, his colleagues have been used to establish the Chris Soar Memorial Fund, which will directly support the Great Dreams campaign. And Jearlyn, I think you might be coming over to talk to Sean here in a moment. May I hand you this microphone?
Absolutely, but while you're doing that, I just want everyone to know, this girl is on fire!
This is not a long mic.
Oh my goodness. You gave me this mic because of what now? Let me make sure I know. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, honey. All right, come on over, Sean. Come on over. We just met each other tonight, and my goodness, his spirit and my spirit got together and said, yeah, I need to know this man and his gifts, right? We are glad to have you, sir. Okay, first of all, I want to know, how is it that you know Tubman?
Gosh, let's see. I know Tubman, I have to answer this twofold. I know Tubman from doing until I started doing art full time, 37 years of people serving work. Some call it social service work, but we serve the people serving work. And so through those 37 years, and I went to school for marketing and advertising, so go figure, right? A lot of the young people that I work with had experiences with Tubman or had families at Tubman. And a lot of men that I worked with further on down the road, exiting from prison, had situations in which their partners ended up in Tubman. Now, I guess in an ancillary, personal, historic type of way, I ended up here because of domestic abuse by I'll say my other half, to put it nicely. From Detroit, got here in '79. The last vivid memory of my father was him literally beating my mother as close as I am to you right now.
Oh my goodness. You know, here's the thing. You've been through so much. At the same time, you have to go back and pour it all back in, right? Once we pour out, we have to pour back in. Where do you go to pour it in?
Community, children's lives. art and hopefully use that as a tool for young people and people in general to kind of get lost in, to kind of escape from certain things. I think the reason why I ended up doing vocationally doing what I was doing was because of my history and, God and my mother, of course. And how I got here when I saw someone had posted it on social media, right? Social media does have some good aspects to it, right? So I said, wow, Tubman needs an artist. I said, this is perfect. So I reached out, and here I am.
We are so glad he's here. Give it up, you guys. Thank you, Sean. Can't wait to finish it. Can't wait to see it. Oh, my goodness. I used to paint. No one ever saw it, thank God. So, Jake and Junita, before we close all of this out, let's take a moment to recognize Sean for this amazing art he's been creating. I can't wait for it to be done. I know you can't wait for it to be done. And of course, the bigger idea, is that you have made such a difference for so many tonight. And we are so grateful. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes. He walked miles in his shoes, and many of us do the same thing, right? So, okay, Junita and Jake, you got to bring it on home. Come on up.
Ooh, if only I could sing like that, y'all, I'd be on the mic all day. And we are excited to launch the community phase of the campaign tonight. I think that deserves a round of applause. We'll be inviting all of you, Tubman's community of supporters, to be involved and help us smash these goals. The next year to year and a half will feature stories, appeals around safety, hope, and healing. And we're counting on you to help us. We need you to help us build excitement, awareness, spark generosity to this critical and important community service. Because if Tubman wasn't here, y'all, I don't know the path that I would have been on today. But because Tubman was here, I can stand before you here today with pride, with dignity, and being able to co-chair this amazing Great Dreams campaign.
So I'm, in my day job, the executive director of Give MN. You may have heard of us in your email box from Give to the Max Day. And it's hard for me to not ask you for money right now. It goes against every part of my being, frankly. Group of fine folks like you, just itching to write a check. I can tell, I can feel that vibe, but I'm gonna fight that urge because we've got a major effort ahead. We are asking you all to help us power a more than $1 million matching pool fund from individuals and private institutions to help us get the rest of the way towards our goals. We're hoping that as representatives in this room from law firms, from healthcare agencies, from businesses, that you're going to go to your communities that you lead and you're going to ask them to join in our Great Dreams campaign. Because we need so many folks to come together to make the final push for this campaign. We're asking you to display just a fraction of the energy and leadership of my friend Junita here and others who share their stories, who survive each and every day, who thrive through Tubman's partnership. And if you want to be the first, I'll just stand right over here in the corner. We're happy to talk. And please know that you will be hearing from us in the coming days, weeks, and months to ask for your participation and your support in this campaign, starting with a friends and family house party circuit that we're going to be trying to get going this spring and summer. So get ready to party, folks.
So we're throwing out some big numbers, but they correlate to big dreams. Harriet Tubman herself said, "Every great dream starts with a dreamer." We invite you to share in the dreams of our community. We invite you to help Tubman continue the history of innovation, adaptation of the needs of the day, and we invite you to dream big about how you can support this campaign. If I need to give y'all a moment so you can start to tap into that dream, think about it, I can give you a moment of silence. But we really need you to support us and walk with us as we get to our finish line.
So thank you so much for being here for the public kickoff to the Great Dreams campaign. We can't wait to partner with each and every one of you in this room to get us well past that goal of ours to make sure all of our clients are able to go on their own great dream and are able to explore a future that is all about safety, hope, and healing. Please don't feel like you have to run out. There are beverages, there are folks to chat with. I know you all will be avoiding me now, so that is not unusual. But we hope you stay and chat with one another, enjoy the beverages and food. And thank you so much, truly, for your support of Tubman now and on into the future. We are really excited to see what this dream may come. Thank you.
If I had a song that I want to sing, goes like this. Don't you ever be sad. Lean on me when times get bad. In the river of trouble, when you're about to drown. In the river of trouble, just stand your ground. Just hold on. Hey, I'm coming. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, you're coming. Hey, just hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Thank you. Good night, everyone. God bless.